Hey AfterBuzzers, you're watching the AfterBuzz TV After Show for the Vampire Diaries, Season 8, Episode 9, The Simplicity of the Near Touch. Join us as we break down the episode and give you our thoughts and predictions. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, I'm your host, Katie Campbell. You can find me on Twitter at KatieEE Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. So excited to be here tonight talking about this episode. And joining me across the table, Sam Davidson.
Hey guys, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. And Jordana and I are running this live chat, so keep on chatting.
Yes, and Jordana Morfin.
Hey guys, you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jordana_Morfin.
And we are obviously missing Tiana tonight, but you guys should definitely tweet her your thoughts on the episode at the Tiana Hobson on Twitter. And of course, if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, please do so. That's youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. We're also on iTunes, SoundCloud. Give us that 5-star thumbs up, leave a comment, and always tweet us using the hashtag ABTVTVD. All right, you guys, let's talk about this episode. What are your overall thoughts?
I liked it a little bit better. I was happier. There's still a lot of frustrating moments. I'm just waiting for old characters to come back, and I really thought they were going to kind of dribble it over more episodes, which I would have liked. So I was a bit disappointed, at least, especially because it was the, what do they call it? Miss Mystic Falls. I wanted to see, like, old characters or more flashbacks.
Yeah, I was going to say I really liked that they brought the event in and the flashbacks that we saw, but my favorite thing was obviously Enzo and Bonnie. That was just, I'm so glad they are back.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I feel like a lot of times, like these episodes, these after shows, we've been talking about what's going to happen with Bonnie. Wasn't she just, die and then Elena can go back? And like they talked about a lot of these things that we've been discussing,
Do you think it should have been talked about earlier?
And before this episode.
Yeah. And I also, did their relationship scare you at all? I was like, oh no, it's too good. This is too good to be true. They are setting us up to fail.
Yeah, but Bonnie's been through so much, so she has to end the show with something good, right?
There's no way they're going to break her down again. I hope not. Just because I don't know, like I was watching it and I just felt so like in love for them watching it. I loved it. So I really hope that it works out. It has to work out between them.
Yeah, I hope so too. Well, some main thing throughout this entire episode was this bell and this contraption thing that they're trying to put together. And, we start out the episode with Sybil calling Damon, wanting this iron ball. And I feel like she really likes him, you guys, more so than her siren self. Are you guys getting that vibe from her?
I do get that vibe.
Yeah, she's a little bit hurt, and that's why I think, too, if her and Elena ever end up crossing paths, she's going to be pissed.
Yeah, I feel like jealousy sometimes, like a little bit of, him now especially not giving in to her and not really, he's kind of like throwing her to the side. She's kind of noticing it, and she's like, what the hell, Damon? What are you doing?
Well, is she necessarily in his head? Is she in his head anymore? Or because she messed with his memories, that's why she's in his head? Or does she not? She doesn't have that hold on him anymore.
I kind of feel, you guys, like they mess with our brains. Because I'm thinking, what did he... Because it's not really consistent, the story that they're telling, as far as her being in his head and recreating history with him and Elena. And we kind of see, like, that they did bring that back. But it's not... For me, I just feel as confused as Damon does.
Yeah. So he did turn off his humanity, right? Is what he's saying.
Yes. That's what he's saying.
And the thing that's bringing it out is this necklace. It's bringing the flickering of this emotion out of him. And Sybil, is saying that the thing that he has to be afraid of is his humanity. But how is he able to, like, smash her head? Because he smashes her head into the, as he's going through these flashbacks, he smashes her head into the mirror.
Was it a flashback? Because she said, how did you do that? So maybe she still can go in, but that's what I think that she can still go in, but he can control it now more.
Yeah.
Because she was like, how did you do that? She was surprised that he smashed her head into the...
I think they've only given us a few moments of seeing her point of view of how she goes in his head, but I think it's been happening the whole time. and, you know, they can't give us her POV the whole time, and we're also questioning, like, what's going on with Damon, but I think that she has been in there, and now she's getting this kind of, like, you know, fight back, and she's surprised, and it's never happened to her before, so I think she's a little offended as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And so the boys, you know, they decide to go back. Damon says yes, he's going to give her the iron ball, and he feels like he can't say no to her still. And Stefan wants to kill her, but I feel like I've seen out of this Ripper Stefan, I feel like we've seen a lot of emotion. Like, if he's Ripper Stefan and he has no humanity, why does he care about killing Sybil?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I don't
And why does he care to serve Kate so much? You know, like, if you were so, like, I know he has to do it, but he, like, brings it up so much as well. If you know, he's like, my purpose is to serve him, and I want to kill Sybil, and, like, is he I see what you're saying. He has, like, these emotions that you wouldn't expect.
Towards Sybil, though, I didn't really notice that, I guess.
Well, because, like, he wants to kill her, but then when they're at the Mystic Falls, you know, he's kind of giving her tidbits of what happened here with Damon and Elena, and he just, like, what are you doing with Sybil? I don't get it. He never went and tried to kill her. He had other agenda, you know, when he was at this Mystic Falls ceremony.
I'm not sure. That'll be interesting to see that play out, because even if he does care for her, I'm like, I hate you even more now, Stefan.
Yeah, but that just doesn't make sense along with Ripper Stefan, no humanity. I mean, we see some of that, but then if he's got these things shining through, we see a little bit, we'll get into this, but we see him getting a little bitter over something.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say something. I think that maybe what they're trying to do is, they've always done this thing, humanity is on or humanity is off. And now I think that when they have it technically turned off, we're seeing humanity seep through, and maybe, you know, creating the real person that is there. Like, Stefan is a Ripper. Even if he's good, he still thinks about it, you know, and it's just, like, part of who he is, but that doesn't, you know, they're not, when they're human, they're not technically embracing their vampire-ness, who they really are.
And I guess what it goes back to also, it was brought up by somebody in the chat last week with what Rose said, that it doesn't fully switch off.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a dimmer.
It's like a little dim light in the back.
How did you guys feel about Caroline and Bonnie? We got to see a little bit of the friendship again, you know, in the very beginning, their little bonding friend moment, although it lasted about 30 seconds.
It was too short. I feel like we should have seen a little more. It focused more on Bonnie and Enzo, and I feel like we should have seen a little bit more of that friendship that, you know, they had. Especially right now, since Caroline's, like, going through so much with, you know, Stefan and the whole Ripper thing, and obviously she's going through her relationship with Enzo. I wish that we could have seen a little bit more of a girl moment, you know?
What do you think is in the present that Bonnie brought back? So I feel like they were going to go back to that this episode, but they never did.
There was a lot of things this episode. I wrote down some quotes that were literally just hints to us. They were Easter eggs, but for big TVD fans, I caught so many of them. I'm getting the chills right now talking about it, and I'm just like, okay, like, I see what you're doing here and here. Like, she literally dropped her an Easter egg, I felt like. You know, she dropped her this gift, and for when they open it. So it scares me that either...
What could it be?
What is it?
Well, just I either am seeing Caroline open it and Bonnie being dead and it being so sad. Or, I know, dark, but this is the show we're talking about. Or I see it as, like, you know, they open it together because Stefan... I don't know. I think one of them dies. One of the main ones is going to go.
So it's going to be like a sad moment of opening this box.
I don't think it's bringing happiness.
But it was a wedding.
But it was a wedding
theme.
gift.
I know.
Right? No,
Okay.
that would be a very sad gift.
Something I thought was interesting too was that, you know, Caroline said to Bonnie, "Oh, you're never gonna turn, you know, into a vampire." And Bonnie didn't say never. She didn't deny that. I mean, she didn't say, like, yeah, you're right. I'm never gonna turn. She's thinking about it.
She's definitely thinking about it now, and you could see it throughout the episode when those Enzo moments with her, like, in the back of her head, she's like, she wants to, but obviously she has Elena.
Well, do you guys feel, though, because I think Bonnie was kind of just assuming the whole Elena, she turns into a vampire just to be safe. Do you know? I don't think it was ever, if you turn into a vampire, that's a loophole and you'll die. You just said loophole, Kai did. So I'm thinking that, I don't know.
Kai said loophole, no loopholes, no witchy woos, and Bonnie said we don't know what would happen. But I feel like logically you die and it's not really a loophole. You died. So you died and Elena wakes up. That's not a loophole.
Did you guys think that Caroline was a bit judgy
Over
in that moment? And it's like, hello, you're a vampire. And I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't tell if she's like, well, you've always said, so why are you turning back on your word? Or she was thinking about the same Elena, like, what if? I don't think she was. I feel like she was saying, well, you've talked crap about us all these years. Are you really going to do that now for a guy?
Yeah, I guess I see that
Yeah.
more so than her thinking about Elena in that moment. But of course, Caroline does care about Elena.
Yes.
Well, while they're standing there, Seline calls. And is this the first time that Caroline has seen Seline since the whole scenario?
I feel like it has been because last time that Seline confronted someone, it was Enzo and Bonnie.
So why is she so... She just seemed so casual, like, oh, rolling my eyes, she's calling. Like, I feel like it was more intense than that when, you know, the girls were kidnapped,
Yeah.
obviously. But it was just weird that she just accepted the phone call so easily.
I feel like they accept everything now so easily because so many things just happen. You know, it's like,
Yeah, I mean, they're
So
so
many bad
close to
things
being like,
happen.
sorry, the devil's calling, just 1 minute.
yeah. I'm also so confused about her because, yeah, when they were sitting down and like talking, you know, she's like, you know, I want to do good and all of this. But in the back of my head, you're like, are you... like, I don't
No.
trust you, but I don't trust Sybil either. And now I don't even know who's a good sister. Neither of you are good. Like, I feel like she has another reason. She wouldn't. I don't think she would kill Sybil.
Here's what I'm thinking.
I really don't think she would.
She's trying to make up for everything. But I feel like she is telling the truth about the 3 objects, but she's leaving something out.
And she said she wants it to kill her sister, but she's not going to kill her sister. I don't think she would do that.
I'm very confused about her as well. I hope that they're going to kind of tie it up with her, and because they're making her more important. So I just hope that she doesn't end up, you know, being like, haha, just kidding, I'm evil, or, oh, I'm heroic. Like, I don't see her as either of those things at all.
Well, we saw her, the last couple times we saw her, she was all emotional and sad, and she really looked like she wanted to make amends. But this episode was like, it was just different. She had this little attitude about her, and, you know, she wasn't scared about somebody coming and threatening her, and she's got tricks up her sleeve.
What is okay? I was like thinking about this, but you know so we have the bell and then the what was it called?
Tuning fork
The
and the
last part.
striker.
The striker. What is the striker?
Does this all seem very
does that-
sexual to you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like the tuning fork hits the bell, and the ball is the thing that hooks onto the tuning fork, and it just
kind
goes
of
in. Yeah,
sways
and
or-
somehow that kills the sirens, but there's got to be some other thing, some
No.
witchy thing,
And-
spell.
After reading all the comments in your guys' awesome tweets last week, I do think that there is a connection with the 100 Witches from first season. We saw those flashbacks with Bonnie and Damon. You know, they thought, remember that whole ceremony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think that's going to be a big part of it. Let's see. There was a really good comment in here that said, and I think I said something like this last year, Mary Judah 444, can you put Bonnie's soul or Lena's soul in another body? I always thought that, but I feel like they would have done that already.
Yeah.
I don't want that though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
like
the
a
same.
Rebecca situation on the originals.
Right. Well, we have Matt and Dorian, you know, teaming up to get this bell, and Matt's off to look for the bell while Dorian distracts Seline. And I thought it was interesting where Seline decided to hide it. I guess because of protection, because the cops have guns. Is that what she was thinking?
I have no idea.
Yeah, and she sirened them, right? All of them to protect it. Because
Yeah,
every
to-
time...
To basically shoot anyone that comes and tries
near
to
it,
look
yeah.
for this thing.
Yeah. And she did a good job.
But Matt was the former sheriff, so that's a little... Oh,
But they...
okay, yes.
Since they were sirened, it's not like... Because he walked... Remember when they were in the house the
Yeah.
first time? And he walked in and he was like... They were talking about that, and then that's when he noticed that he was sirened. Because he's like, I have to shoot you.
Right, but he's able to kind of talk his way out of it, and you know, at least to get the guys and get the guns away from the cops, you know. But I guess maybe she didn't care about that because she said, right? She said that Matt's family is the only one that can ring the bell.
Yep.
Right. So we finally figured out kind of what that exact role is going to be for his family, why they're so important. I still want it to be more than that.
I
Yeah,
just
it's weird.
want to know how she... Well, I mean, how did she convince Dorian, you know? When they had
This
confronted
Dorian
Matt.
thing, I'm like, really, another new person?
Yeah, someone who's just around. But
Well, he was here from the beginning, right? We just didn't see much
Yeah.
of him or much character building in the first couple episodes.
I just feel like Dorian's gonna take her side now. Not like her side, but she obviously did some convincing there.
She has a story, right?
Yeah, she has a story that he thinks is important that Matt should know as well. So
What do you think that is? Like, if we use this bell against a siren, there's repercussions? Like, 'cause there's always some kind of, you do one thing and it's going to have all these waves on something else. Is that what it is?
I think everything that we're being told right now is kind of a lie.
Yeah.
Like, there is another side to this. Like, yeah, those things might happen, but there's a bigger purpose for this entire bell, ball, fork.
Yeah.
do you think? Oh no, never mind. I was like bringing in the little girls too. Maybe the twins have something to do with it.
I think
as
so,
well.
for sure.
What would they have to do?
Well, I don't know specifically, but since they are witches and this whole bell revolves around, as well as and they're kind of the only ones that are witches that we know right now. Obviously, Bonnie doesn't have her powers.
Unless she gets them back.
Unless she gets them back. I feel like they're gonna bring those girls back in somehow, especially since it's like Seline and she was
the
so
connection.
attached. Mm-hmm.
I really liked the moment between Caroline and Damon, although, it wasn't exactly perfect, but I feel like it was a sweet moment, her talking about the necklace, about how it brings up, how strong that their love was, Elena and Damon. And he is so quick to say, no, I don't want to kill her because I want her to fix my head first. But what if killing her fixes his head? Or is that not, would that just take everything away, or...
That's a good point. But I feel like maybe it's the kind of fear as though, you're going into labor and you have your doctor you work with the whole time and then, like, they die and you're thinking, oh, crap.
Yeah.
What do I do now? I need them. But he doesn't need her.
But is it because of a connection still? Like, that's just so not clear.
There is one there, I think, right? A connection still.
I think so.
She has a huge crush on him.
She loves him.
Yeah. And in the very end, with Damon and Sybil, we see he really brings her to tears. Like, I think he really hurt her feelings.
And I'm glad he brought that to it, like, our attention, because I feel like we haven't seen her break down that way before, and it was something that we've had to see. It's like, finally, like, look, Sybil, like, we know he knows your past, and you do have feelings, and you were really hurt by it. So
do you think she's ever had this, like, I know she's a siren, she gets people to fall in love with her all the time, she loves that feeling, but do you think she's ever really had this type of a connection with one of her people she's siren?
so.
It's a challenge, too. And then, she probably thinks she's in love. And it's one of those things, Edward in Twilight, he can read everybody's mind but Bella's. And it's this, like, whole, ooh, you're the only person this has ever happened with, ever. So, I mean, we know Sybil is this crazy, crazy girl. And it's not going to end well for her. But I do think that there are real feelings, coming inside of her. But I don't really care.
Yeah, whatever. Well, she, attacks him and says, here, have everything back, and you're not going to be able to live with yourself.
I'm so excited to see how that's gonna play out.
Did she, like, turn his humanity on through his... Is that what she did?
Yeah, I think
so. So now he's literally going to feel everything.
But did she let go of the hold she has on him, and that's what gives the humanity back, or she just let the humanity come back, but she'll still have a hold on him mentally?
I think we'll see.
Well, here's what I think is funny that she's been saying to him, like, this is better. Like, take the easier road. Don't face all this stuff. You're not going to be able to face all this stuff. But, when Elena wakes up, and even if it was 60 years, Bonnie lived a life, Elena woke up, you're going to be faced with all this humanity at some point. You're probably going to do a bunch more things in those 60 years if you just don't, just face it now.
Might as well do it now.
And Nellie Mac 91 in the chat said, Sybil can't take rejection. Sirens are used to getting their way. And it's like
maybe that's why she loves him.
And I don't think anyone's challenged her before the way he has, obviously. And I feel like probably any other person that she's siren, they're probably kind of afraid of her as well,
Yeah, and Blue Aqua in the chat said, Sybil isn't in love. She's obsessed with someone who doesn't want her, something she's never experienced before. True.
Yeah.
So
that's
that kind
what
of
it is.
piques the fascination.
But she might think she's in love. She's just confused.
Yeah, because, again, never happened before.
Right. I want to go back to talking about Stefan as the Ripper and, like, what does he want? He's, going to kill Sybil, but what is he, like, what is the point of turning all of these girls into vampires? Like, is that making these good girls bad in that way that they're devils and he could kill them for Cade? Or does it not work like that? I'm confused.
He's an idiot if he thinks it would work that way. That's not fair.
Right.
And I think Cade would be like, you're cheating.
But I don't even think Cade cares. Like, at this point, I don't think Stefan's even thinking about it either, you know? He's just doing it for fun. That's exactly what Caroline said. You're doing these things for fun, you know?
I'm like, what did the Stefan Caroline stuff this episode was really cool and interesting, because I had those questions, you know, what was she gonna do when he'd be like, hey, honey, how many people you killed today? And it was, I think the plan was for him to stay away, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then they chose to come to this. Like, was it didn't she seem that shocked to see them?
And she really thought she could tell him, listen, we're going to do this my way. You're not going to go killing good people. You're going to stick to murderers and, you know, whatever. How are you going to get that through his head at this point?
And why did she even, how did she even think that was possible?
Because she believes in true love like Katie Campbell does. And she also believes, you know, that doing, which is working, giving that necklace to Damon is slowly paying off. And she is just like puppet master of love. So hopefully she thinks her and Stefan's love is strong enough.
So what can we use to bring that out of Stefan? Was she thinking possibly giving him back the ring? Is that going to pull out the love of Caroline and Stefan? Or is it going to be Elena? When she wakes up, is she going to pull Stefan out?
Yeah.
And there were some interesting lines, too, that Stefan said to Damon. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
This was my favorite part of the episode.
I was loving that as well.
And this brings
we haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, the question about his humanity being off. How can he be so bitter? I mean, he said things like, you know, what did he say? Elena Gilbert never really goes away.
Well, I think that's one of the seeds, though. That's telling us that, like, she's coming back, by the way. Pretty sure.
Okay, so that's them indirectly letting us know.
And it's like Elena Gilbert never goes away, so it's like
he loves her. Always will.
She's still in your head, you know, still in the back of your head too.
Oh yeah, I was excited because Selena till the end. Even if that doesn't happen at the end, I'm still Selena. But he also said to Damon, you know, he's so upset that Damon has this necklace and it's, you know, bringing Elena's the one that's controlling his mind more than Sybil and all these things. And he said to Damon that, you know, Elena never would have looked at you twice had I been standing there that day at the Mystic Falls ceremony. And he said, I gave this necklace to her to protect her from you. He's so bitter about it still.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand, because if he's feeling emotions,
and it's maybe
Ripper Stefan is maybe a little bit there. Or
Yeah,
not
But we
all
didn't
Ripper.
see that before when we saw
Yeah.
Ripper Stefan.
I guess, and he was more like a zombie.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But this time, and he's targeting these young girls, too, which I don't, you know. Someone in the chat said, you know, it was out of boredom that he did that, but I'm not really sure. I really don't know, but it's pretty messed up, and I just don't want... And even if Elena comes back and the Stefan thing, I don't know. It's too little too late for me, I think.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Do you think we're going to see that girl that got turned into a vampire? Or do you think we're going to see her again? Or it just was a sweet moment, Caroline consoling her, and she'll be on her way?
I don't know. I'm glad I was kind of excited that we saw that, just because everything that she went through, like Caroline went through when she turned into a vampire, and it was just, you know, she was telling this girl, like, you don't have to attack people, you can be like a good person, you can live your life and go to college and do all these things, you know. And it was the way she was consoling her was like the way Stefan was consoling Caroline back in the day when she turned. And I thought that was really cute. Like it was a good moment.
And I've seen this girl in a lot of things before, actually.
Yeah, I have too.
As like a young little girl. So she's, you know, a working
Sonia
actress.
Evans in the chat said, Stefan broke the necklace during the Mystic Falls introductions of the contestants. I thought that was cold, and he dances with Sybil, ? I hope Damon can find his own way back. Which is true.
But did the necklace, like, shatter? Because I couldn't tell if it just maybe, you know, fell off the chain or something, or did it completely get destroyed?
He broke it. I'm not sure exactly how bad it went, but he, like,
I just wish
it.
they could erase everything that happened this season. Because And then on the last few episodes, starting from the beginning of the season, but doing it over again. It's not that I haven't enjoyed it, but too much has happened that has made me dislike our favorite characters.
Well, speaking about, I mean, we've said this for a while about Damon. Like, we don't like what he was doing. And, so close to the end, Stefan's fallen off the wagon. Well, do you think, like, Stefan says he's going on his own now, we're ever going to have the brothers, like, together, happy? Do you think it's going to end like that? Do you think
they would end the show with them not being happy with each other? That would just be awful, but
I think they're going to have to sacrifice people that they love for the love of each other, which is, it's whatever. And I'm just scared who we're going to lose. I'm very scared. And I can't stop thinking about who we're going to lose.
So, like, to lose someone so that they can be bonded again? Is that what you're saying?
No, I feel like they're going to have to make a choice kind of thing. Like, literally, there's a gun, mentally to someone they love's head and then one of the brothers' heads. And they're going to be like, choose. Is it going to be Caroline or Damon? Is it going to be Bonnie or Stefan? Is it, it's going to be one of those things. But there is this part of me, do you guys ever have, I think about this, right? If I'm in a nightmare, literally having a nightmare, or if I think about, if I was ever kidnapped in something, I would just act like the weakest link the entire time and then, like, build up my strength slowly. And then I would come at them and I would just fake being something, I would fake being weak and vulnerable.
Yeah, but wouldn't they come after you if you're the weakest link?
No, I think they'd, like, leave me alone more. Because I'd be there, I'd be kidnapped, and I'd act as though I couldn't do much. And even though Stefan is killing people, I think there's something inside of him that's like, I'm going to pretend to be what people think I'm going to be, so I can maybe go under the radar and fix this.
So you think so there's something there in Stefan, like there ended up being in Damon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope there is.
I mean, he is making the comment that he might do this for several years.
Yeah.
For Cade.
Or forever.
Yeah.
10 years. 20 years.
Yeah. I want to talk about Bonnie and Enzo and their love story again. Bonnie said she'd turn for him. She literally said that. And I think the necklace, too, is more than just, hey, turn for me. I think it is, like, protection. I really do feel that honesty coming from Enzo. Do you guys feel that?
Yeah.
Well, definitely, especially when we saw them, like, outside in the woods. Like, he was tearing up, saying, like, I don't even know what I would do if I lost you. Like, if you go in there without protection, like, I just want to protect you from everything.
So what does she do?
Especially
real
if
quick,
you're
just
human.
Open it up and drink the blood?
I mean, if she wants to.
Before something
happens.
I did. I saw a foreshadowing of, like, her being trapped somewhere and maybe her, like, dying. Literally, she's, like, bleeding out, and then she takes it.
Oh. Ooh.
I want her to take it. I want her to turn.
I know, and I get that when Caroline, basically was like, wow, you literally said you never wanted to, you never would, and I do wish I understood her reasoning behind saying that, because if I was Caroline and I didn't think Elena, I would have suggested this right when we started, with Elena being in the coma.
But I really like that she suggested that Enzo turns human as well. So.
Yes, I think that was a huge moment about him taking the cure. Where's the cure?
Elena. No,
I forget.
Well, yeah, where is the cure?
Guys, in the chat, please tell us, and we're sorry we don't remember, but where the cure is. I thought it was destroyed.
Yeah,
That's what
I think
I
it is destroyed. So, isn't Elena was the only one who took it, right?
No, Catherine.
Well, Catherine took it.
Oh, Catherine took it.
Became really old, then went to hell, which hopefully we're still going there.
Well, also, yeah, why isn't Bonnie thinking about Catherine? Because she doesn't want to happen to Enzo what happened to Catherine.
Ooh,
she
wasn't thinking about
that.
that.
That's a loophole right there. I'm not sure for the writers or...
Well, maybe she wasn't thinking about that in the moment, and when it comes up next episode, he says, but wait, I can't. And then they bring that whole situation up, and then that's why she has to become a vampire. Because she'll die, Elena will come back. That's not a loophole. She will die.
Yeah.
Did they say you can't have an afterlife? Like, become a
I don't think they
vampire?
really know the whole story. That's why they're kind of, like, questioning it,
We'll talk to Kai.
Let's see. Nicholas Kelly says Bonnie finally got to Bonnie finally got an honest-to-God true man that will take care of her and treat her like the queen she is.
Yeah.
True that.
I love them so much.
There's a lot of people in the chat, though, that are really, really against Bonnie turning into a vampire.
Really?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's still, you know, I think that it's great she's staying true to who she's always been, very selfless and always, you know, putting herself, you know,
let's
behind
see.
others because she's worried about Elena.
The cure, apparently, to, let's see, Keziah
in
Mayers,
Elena.
it's in Elena.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
So if it's in Elena,
How
how
does
does that work?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could just go suck from her sleeping corpse. I don't know. I mean, really, what else are you
Yeah, that
supposed
kind
to do?
of is kind of like the only thing.
But is that part of the whole, that would be witchy woo-woo, messing with things like Kai said don't do?
And that's why Kai is going to come back somehow, maybe, if we don't go to hell. And, oh my god, last week I said, I think we're going to hell and I can't wait. And someone commented in the comments on YouTube and was like, I hope that doesn't mean, like, for our country right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's get into some predictions, speaking about possibly going to hell.
Dun.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so Damon, his humanity's turned on, but he's trapped in his own mind.
What do you
That's
mean?
what we
He's
see in the previews. He's trapped in his own mind. Stefan's running around in there. Ripper Stefan, I guess. I don't know what's going on, but that confuses me. So he's asleep.
Well, he's not asleep because didn't we see him like sitting down, like?
But maybe he's in his mind. No.
He, like, puts himself into his own mental coma because he feels so bad, maybe.
Okay. All right. And then Stefan's gonna burn Mystic Falls to the ground because
It's Stefan and he wants to have some fun.
Ripper Stefan, which, you know, we all want to see him go back to lovely Stefan. However, Paul Wesley does a really good job, and it's always really fun to watch him play Ripper Stefan.
I know, and it seems like that's who he is, maybe, deep down.
Because he's so good at it.
Yes.
What kind of predictions do you guys have for the rest of the season series?
You go first.
No, I don't know. I do think that Bonnie can turn into a vampire, and I feel like that might happen, and I wouldn't be mad if we saw that happen. So I predict that, and I feel like I always predict this, but I really want the girls to come back. I want the twins to come back. I really want to know what's happening with, Seline.
Yeah, she's got some tricks.
She's a little sketchy.
Yeah. People in the chat have cleared a couple things up for us. So the reason that happened to Catherine was because Silas drank it from her.
That's right. So if somebody drank it from Elena, she's not really going to age that much.
Well, wait, if someone drank it from Elena, then would she? No, because she's not a vampire anymore.
No.
It's all very confusing.
Yeah, no, so she'd be okay.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm not sure. I think they're creating this whole other, they keep on changing the...
Oh, or would she, go back to dying in that moment then?
Well, the thing is, no, because Elena was a human when she was put to sleep. It's not as though she was a vampire, but even if she was a vampire and it turned her back to, how old she would be, she'd still be, 20 years old. So, it'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there are some interesting things in the chat, which I will definitely go through later. And please tweet at us, comment on YouTube to let us know about this whole cure situation. But I do want to read a really fun Dear Elena we got in the chat tonight from Nicholas Kelly. Dear Elena, in the near future, you should return to us. Please, to the love of God, avoid the Salvatores like the damn plague. Because at this point, the way they are acting is always repetitive. So... I think that was really funny. I loved that. Thank you again, Nicholas Kelly, for your wisdom and fun words. Here's what I think. I think that Alaric has to come back with the girls. Mm-hmm. And Caroline and Stefan, I think Stefan might do something so bad that Caroline's kind of just
Over it? Really? She can't forgive him?
Well, if he kills someone that she loves, I don't know. I'm a little bit scared of that. Even though I do see humanity in Stefan, I'm not sure what's going to happen. And again, Matt is going to really be tying into things more. Mm-hmm. I don't think they've done a very good job thus far, but I'm waiting for this big thing to be like, oh my god, duh. Yes, I get it. Besides his family ringing the bell.
It feels a little bit added in
at the last minute.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
and
it wasn't planned. And maybe it was, but I don't feel like it was planned back in season 1.
someone at Charmed Original said Enzo would only age to his 80s if he took the cure. I mean, okay, but still not super fun to like.
Then they wouldn't have 60 years, right?
I know, shit. It would be. And then a bunch of people talked about Lexi coming back, so I would really like those predictions to be true.
I want to see everybody. You know, I think you said, like, you have been hoping that they'd sprinkle more people throughout the, season so far. And I think they are. They're just not giving us enough. Like, we saw Sheriff Forbes, but for, like, 1 minute. And that was their sprinkle of Sheriff Forbes. And I think that, that's what they're doing. But we obviously want more. I want to see Jeremy, right? We want to see Jeremy.
Yes.
And for the people saying, they don't want Bonnie to turn into a vampire, I kind of get it because she was a witch and... we want her to stay true to her witch self, but this, love story that they've been giving to us with Bonnie and Enzo is just so beautiful, and they're just really throwing it at us, and we love it. We want more, so I just feel like I want her to turn. I feel like it's going that way so that they can be together forever, as opposed to him taking the cure.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't see that ending well. I'm sorry. I just don't.
Well, I'm still rooting for it. I'm rooting for everybody to be happy at the end, hopefully.
Me too.
Or maybe, it'll be the brothers and Elena, she never chooses.
It's like a throuple.
Or she just never chooses and it just stays true to what the tagline of the show is.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Yeah, but then it'll kind of make everybody happy. It'll make people mad, but it'll also make everybody's ship be there.
Yeah.
Except for then we got Caroline and Stefan, and so... I don't know, guys. I do think...
We're all messed up over this.
It can go so many ways at this point.
I know. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. And where can everybody find you guys throughout the week before next week's episode?
Everyone, you guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jordana_Morfin.
You guys can find me, Sam Davidson, SamDavidsonEntertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. I just want to thank Peace by Dana Pruitt. You can find them on Instagram. They made me this really cool agate necklace.
You have new ones like every week.
I love my jewelry. I love my crystals, just like Bonnie. So check them out and tweet at me. I can't wait to see you next week.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at Katie E.E. Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. Instagram at KatieCampbell13 and YouTube.com/KatieCampbellOnline. And you can also find me on the Supernatural After Show on Thursday. It's coming back, you guys, Thursday night at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also check out all of our amazing after shows at AfterBuzz. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.